Welcome back into the Pig Trail Show, and welcome into another Arkansas football recruiting report. Otis Kirk and Jacob Morris with you, joined by a very special guest, Greenwood receiver Grant Karnes, and a recent preferred walk-on commit to the Razorbacks this past week. Grant, first of all, just what did it mean to make that decision? Coming from Greenwood, having the lineage that school does, making the decision to pay your career forward with the Hawks.
Well, I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's been my dream to always be a Hog and get the opportunity to play here. And I mean, looking back, like Grant Morgan,
Mhm.
Drew Morgan, all of them that have been here have went in here and just played great. I mean, I'm so excited to get up there and get to work.
That's what I was going to ask you. Greenwood has such a unique tradition with that, right? So many guys in terms of coming in and making real impacts for Arkansas. What does it mean to kind of continue that path coming from the Greenwood program?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, kind of like what they did before, kind of helped give me the opportunity to go and do, show what I can do. And then assuming, when I get there and I do great, it kind of like work, gives the next person an opportunity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You've played in so many big games in your time at Greenwood. For Razorback fans that haven't had a chance to get to watch you play, describe what type of receiver, what type of player you are, what you bring to the football field.
Oh, I mean, I'm one of the hardest workers you'll see, like, on off the field or whatever. But like, I'm someone I'll make a guy miss. I can truck people, go up, high point the ball. I mean, I can play without the ball really well too. I'm not just if I have the ball, I do good. I mean, I can block great, and you know, I'm just I'm just like that guy, like that.
I love that. Something I thought was really interesting was, your coach has been so complimentary about how you'll do anything to get on the football field, talking about how, you were one of the best kickoff coverage guys on your team, throughout high school. And how important is that to you? You can catch the ball, you can do whatever you need to do when the ball's in your hands, but you mentioned it there, being able to do everything else to get yourself on the football field and help the team in whatever capacity possible.
Yes, sir. I mean, obviously, I've played offense mainly. It's like my whole position throughout my life. But I mean, there's more to it. There's defense, special teams. I mean, without special teams, you can't win. I mean, there was multiple games where, for us, it came down to an onside kick or whatever that we ended up recovering, or late game, we're tied or we might be down or something. I return to kickoff or something like that. But I mean, it's just huge to me.
I'm curious, playing in the Greenwood program, you have a target on your back when you have that much success, right? Everybody's coming for you all the time. What did you learn from that standpoint of your guys' preparation week in, week out? Not that, everybody doesn't need to be prepared for every game, but with the type of effort you guys get from everybody every single Friday, it's just a little bit different. What did you learn about that process in your time at Greenwood?
Yeah, I mean, we know we're going to get everybody's best because, I mean, for a lot of teams, they know they don't really have a shot to go and win it all. I mean, so we're like their Super Bowl kind of. I mean, if they can take us down, they're happy for the year. So, I mean, we can't have a week where like, okay, yeah, this team might be lower, and we know we're expected to beat them by a ton, but we got to, stay locked in and work just as hard as if it's a state championship or like week 1 or week 2, because I mean, everyone wants to beat us.
Absolutely. And you're a three-sport athlete. You do a little bit of everything. Talk about what else you do outside of the football field, just how talented of an athlete you are.
All right, so I mean, growing up, I played basketball and baseball as well. I did track for I think a year or so, but I mean, growing up, I started off I was bigger, so I mean I was pretty good at basketball, but then I became about the post height, and I became about 6 foot tall or whatever. So me being a post kind of became a problem, but my jumping can help with it. But and then from the baseball side, I was a huge baseballer. I committed my junior year to go to
Mhm.
Wichita State to go pitch and play outfield, but then I decided I was like I gotta go play football. That's what I love. That's my favorite one, and so I switched and started going for it going into my senior year. But I mean, it means a ton to me.
I was going to ask you, what caused that switch for you? You obviously were plenty talented on the baseball field. What kind of within you, when you looked at that process, said, hey, I want to give this football thing as much as I can, as much runway as I can, and, make that my priority moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I love baseball, but I love football way more. I mean, I played baseball since I was a little kid, and my dad has an organization in it and
Hmm.
everything like that. But I just was kind of like realizing, like, man, I got one season left of football left, and I'm not ready for that to be over, and I wanna go play. And obviously, my dream is to be a Hog. I've been going to games since I was a little kid, and to get the opportunity to go out there and actually be one is just amazing. And so that's kind of what it was a little bit. I decided I was like, I gotta follow it.
You said it, you've been an Arkansas fan your whole entire life. Was it a surreal moment when you made your commitment and you said, you kind of looked around and said, I'm going to go play for Arkansas. I'm going to go play in, Razorback Stadium where I've seen so many games. Was that surreal for you when you finally kind of made that official?
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it was really cool, putting that post out there and be like, I'm 100%, I'm going to be a hog. It's all settled. It's like, it was basically kind of like a dream come true.
What
And
were
now it's
con-
time to go there and just prove myself.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What were conversations like for you with the coaching staff? What did that look like getting to know them and Coach Fouch and just the whole staff as a whole, making that process go through?
Well, I mean, this summer I went to a camp or
Hmm.
whatever, and I talked to Fouch before. I'd seen him down in Greenwood. He came and watched us throw and catch. But I went up there and had a really good camp and
Hmm.
everything like that. And he talked to me a pretty good amount. And then that's when I got the PWO. And then as time went on, I went to a couple of game day visits and
Yeah.
everything like that. And then as season went on and everything like that, I talked to Fouch and talked to Pittman a little bit, not a ton, but mainly Fouch. And then
Hmm.
about a week ago, Pittman called me and confirmed there was a spot. As long as I wanted it, it's mine, and I didn't have to think about that. That's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. Otis, I'll turn it over to you and hop in a little bit at the end.
Yeah, Grant, I don't think you know this, but they were the day at the camp you got that offer, they were afraid to offer you a preferred walk, afraid it would offend you. And I think some people assured them that it wouldn't offend you. So what did it mean when they offered you that? I know you weren't offended, but
Yeah,
they
no, I
actually
definitely.
were worried about that.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I mean, I definitely wasn't offended about it. I mean, obviously, I would love a full scholarship, but I can get there and I can earn that. And so once I prove myself and show what I can do, I mean, I know I'll be able to get that. But just finally getting like that, I guess, recognition or whatever, and getting that opportunity was just, I was so pumped up.
What does Chris Young mean to that program down there? I mean, the guy, Rick Jones was a legend. And most of the time when you follow a legend, there's a slippage in the program, or at least a perceived. But with Chris, there's no slippage, no matter who he followed. Vince Lombardi or whoever, Chris kept that thing going. Talk about what Chris Young brings to that Greenwood program down there.
Oh, he brings so much. I mean, obviously, ever since I got moved up, my ninth grade year, he was the head coach. I never really had a ton of Coach Jones, but I know he was amazing. But
Yeah.
Coach Young's amazing. I mean, he works. I mean, everyone on the staff, they all work so hard, 7 days a week. I mean, he prepares like nobody else, and he pushes you. And I mean, outside of sports too. I mean, if you need something, he's there for you. And through my recruiting process too, he helped me a ton. And just yeah, he's very 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 good.
You changed a lot of games down there, not just receiving, which you did, but also returning kickoff. I remember last year I came down when you guys played, not this year, but when you were a junior, you played Walker White's team, Little Rock Christian.
Shiloh.
Yeah, and they kicked
Oh
off,
yeah,
turned that opening kickoff back for a touchdown, man, like 100. I don't know if it was 100 yards. It was basically the distance of
something
football.
like that.
Just how many? I mean, you feel like you changed the momentum in so many ways. Because I know Chris the other day when I interviewed him talked about you making tackles on defense or special team, but returning kickoffs, not just catching passes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's one of those things too. Like I remember in that game, they
Yeah,
started with the ball and they came out scored first, so they have all the momentum. They're hoping to go and get a stop, and then we come out and we score. Never run a play on offense, and then we have all of it,
yeah.
and then I'm pretty sure we got a stop after that, and then we kind of took over or whatever. But I mean, there's so much more to it than just offense. Obviously, it's huge, but getting the opportunity to go out there, offense, defense, help the defense by making tackles, chasing people down if someone breaks through. I mean, it's pretty cool.
You probably don't. I don't know if you ever heard of Lucas Miller or if you know him or anything, but he played up here. He was a wide receiver from Greenwood who walked up and got a scholarship. And not only did he get a scholarship, he ended up playing quite a bit of football. And then Tyler Wilson. There was always Grant and Drew Morgan, but just seemed like Greenwood kids always come out. And as other than Tyler, really, most of them weren't highly ranked by the recruiting services. Tyler was, but the rest of them weren't. But yet they've all contributed and gone on and made great careers at Arkansas and some beyond that. Just talk about that. Seemed like Greenwood kids are well prepared for when you get to college.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if you go to any other high school and look at how people work, I mean, we're definitely the top. I mean, from just discipline to how hard we get pushed to make sure we do everything right. Like, if your hand's in the white, it's in the white. If it's over, we run. Finishing through the line, just everything like that. I mean, we are all so make sure we do it all perfect.
You guys were undefeated, won another state championship, and obviously you'll be at Arkansas next year. But Kane, Cody, and a bunch of those guys will be back. How good can they be next year with the team they've got coming back? I mean, I named a couple, but there's obviously a lot more players than that. There's some really good players coming back to Greenwood.
I mean, there's a ton. They can definitely go win it again. I mean, they got what they need, and a ton of guys will develop over the summer too, and just throughout the season. But with all the coaches coming back again and everything, and picking up Coach Arnold last year's a new one who was great. I mean, they definitely can go do it again.
When will you report to Arkansas?
Summer.
In
As soon
summer?
as summer
Okay.
gets here, as soon as I graduate.
Okay, are you gonna play baseball for Greenwood this year
I am
then?
not. I talked to coaches a couple days ago, and I want to be full focus in on football. I'm gonna get
Okay.
stronger and everything, get faster, and be ready. So when I get there, I'm ready to go.
Uh, did How hard was that decision? I know you've talked about why you did it, but when you kind of gave up the baseball scholarship at Wichita State to play it to at that time you didn't even have the preferred walk home from Arkansas. How hard was it to give up that scholarship, that you were committed to kind of bet on yourself? And obviously it paid off.
Oh, I mean, obviously, I mean, as much as I want to say, oh, it was easy just to go do it. I mean, it was hard to just say, I'm gonna basically throw away a full ride scholarship
Mhm.
and go chase football instead. Which I mean, I knew I could go do it. I knew if I would have went to a ton of camps, I know I would have gotten some offers. But I mean, whenever I was focused on baseball and doing camps like that for baseball, I mean, obviously I never went and did any, so that's kind of where I missed out on all the recruiting. Junior year is your biggest year, and I kind of didn't do any of it. And so I knew it was going to be a grind, and it definitely was. But obviously it worked out.
What's your size for the people that don't know? How tall, how much you weigh?
I'm 6'1", 195.
Okay. And that's good size for a receiver. I mean, it's above average. Just talk about uh, what are your goals for your career, freshman season and maybe redshirt freshman season at Arkansas? Is it to get on the field and special teams or to receiver? What do you have in mind? Or what are your goals?
I mean, obviously, my goal is to get on the field. I mean, whether it's receiver, special teams, anything. I mean, just to get on the field, have an impact, and I mean that's 100% my goal.
Well, I talked to Chris the other day. He felt like you could get on the field on special teams your first year, and then after that, as receiver, and that's probably accurate, at least that. So he felt like you could surely get on the field,
Yeah,
special teams because you're so good, willing to do anything, and they always need
yes,
special
sir.
team help. Just for someone that hasn't seen you play at receiver, what do you do well? I mean, what do you feel like what's Grant Karnes feel like his strengths are at receiver?
Oh, I think one of my biggest strengths is, I mean, obviously for receiver, I'm not like really heavy, but I mean, I'm a heavy receiver at 195, but I can
Right.
I can definitely run with my weight and break tackles. I mean, I have three guys hit me, and I mean, I'll knock them all off and keep going. And I'd say my number one thing is just going up and high pointing the ball over people, like jump balls. I say I win those like 90% of the time.
Yeah, just just talk about the fact that kickoff returner, receiver, and everything. Did you play? How much did you play? I mean, I was at a lot of your games, but how much did you play any defense your senior
Oh,
year? I know you did before that,
I
or a little bit.
played very little amount. I never really played much. It was one of those
Okay.
things like, well, just because our defense is always so strong, there never was a reason to have to put anyone over. That's why we never really played anyone two ways very much. But I mean, I went out there if it was like fourth and like 14 or something. I know they're gonna throw a deep ball or whatever. I'd
Yeah.
go out there every once in a while. It was just to knock it down, or if I could get it, pick it and return it. But I went out there very very rarely.
Okay. I saw you some of the bigger games. I think once or twice I saw you go, like you said, on fourth down, maybe against Walker, knowing he's going to pass the football. They're a couple of touchdowns behind. They need to catch up. And I thought, yeah, I didn't know how much you played otherwise. Okay. Well, I think that's about all of mine, Jacob. But yeah, I really appreciate Grant coming on here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, of
can
course.
ask.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'll hop in with a couple more here. Just I wanted to talk about, you guys obviously are in such a unique offense from the standpoint that, high school wise, you don't see people put the ball in the air the way that you guys do. For again, people that didn't really get a chance to watch you, 1,300 yards receiving your senior year. Just, how much of a benefit do you think that is to you to play in an offense that is more built a little bit more like, a college offense and, have the ability to do some of the things that you're going to have to do at the next level?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a huge help. I mean, I bet we throw the ball 70% of the time, and so we run quick. We run a quick offense, so a lot of the time if the plays are called in, we never really huddle. We just go straight in and go. But I think it helps a ton because if you get hot, usually they can keep getting you the ball real
Mm.
quick. But I think that definitely helps a bunch, which is just like publicity, kind of getting your name out there because obviously throwing the ball a lot more than you're running. So that's like a dream if you're a receiver.
Yeah,
I'd say it's huge.
yeah, it's a great offense to be a receiver. And you and Kane were pretty darn unstoppable this year. Just how special was it to catch passes from a guy like that? And, what do you think he's capable of moving forward?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty cool. I played with him since I was very young. We played basketball together too, so it's going back a long ways. And we're playing again this year.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's huge getting to play with him. Obviously, I know he can go play. He can go play somewhere big. I don't know where he's going to go, but I hope I get to see him again at some point. But I mean, it's huge playing with him. He's very good. And he always threw me the ball a lot too. We had a lot of chemistry built together, so it helped out.
Yeah, how did you go about, is it just you guys had played together so long? I mean, chemistry was the thing that stuck out with you guys. How do you go about developing something like that? Is it just rep after rep after rep?
I think so. Yeah, definitely that, and just I think it helps too, just playing other sports together
Yeah.
too, and just kind of growing like that. But I played football with him again since I was probably a sixth grader or whatever. So he's thrown me I don't know how many passes in my career. He's thrown me a ton, and so kind of just like as the years go by, just the passes got farther.
Yeah, improve the arm strength a little bit there. We talked a lot about, you being a multi-sport athlete, and I think it's interesting the path that you went on, kind of making that not switch, but deciding to go the route that you did your junior year. A lot's made of, specializing in one sport, playing a bunch of different sports. How much for you playing basketball, playing baseball at the level that you did made you a better receiver, made you what you are now?
Oh, I think it helps a ton. I mean, obviously you learn different skills and stuff like that, but like basketball, I mean, all I do basically is I just jump a ton, jump and get rebounds and putbacks, but build my vertical there and just definitely the conditioning in it. It doesn't matter how shape you think you are until you get to basketball, and you never are. But I think that helps a ton because I'd be super conditioned whenever I come back to football and then baseball. I mean, I guess the main thing there would probably be like just the mental standpoint,
Yeah.
because you strike out in baseball, you get to think about it for a while, but having a strong mental in football, I think was really helpful.
I liked the kind of contrast between on the football field. You're going up and high pointing over people. It's like receiver, flashy position, and then basketball, you're just going up getting rebounds and putbacks. It's like two different play styles there, right? In terms
Yes,
of the
sir.
different sports.
Yeah, that's where I guess growing up, I hit my growth spurt a lot earlier, so I became the post at a very young age, so I never had to shoot very much, and now I'm kind of paying for it a little bit, but I mean, obviously I can jump, so it helps a ton there. But yeah, my main job basically set ball screens and get rebounds and putbacks.
Fundamentals first. That's all I got. Otis, you got anything else before we go?
No, I'm good. I just think Grant, he's like I said, he's one of the best receivers I've seen play the last couple of 3 years in high school football around the state and around wherever I go in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and see kids play. He's one of the best I've seen at receiver. Uh, I I didn't even know who he was first time, and I'm down there and I see this receiver making all these plays. I'm there obviously to see Kane, and I see this receiver making all these catches, returning kickoffs. And I quickly found out who he was, and I talked to Coach Young, and I went down and did a big story on Grant. I believe when he was a junior, if I'm not mistaken.
He
Yeah,
was a sophomore. Saw my sophomore
sophomore.
year.
Okay, yeah, that was right after I saw you the first time.
I remember that.
That kid can play. And I asked Chris,
Okay.
and he said, "Oh yeah, he's a good ball player. He's somebody you need to know about." And so, yeah, I came down when you were a sophomore and wrote that story. That's right after I really found out who you were, because before that, I just didn't know who Brent Karnes was. But I
Sure.
know now. I found
Sure.
out quick, in fact.
Good.
That's going to do it for this week's Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Grant, thanks so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was really fun.
Appreciate it.
You, man.
Appreciate it a lot. More Pig Trail Show coming up after the break.